Part 2. You will hear part of a radio travel program about a tourist resort called Stanley Island. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Welcome once again to the show where we give you travel tips on popular tourist destinations in the Pacific region. And today, our focus is on beautiful Stanley Island. Now, before we get started, a word of warning. The seaplane service to the island was discontinued last week, so for the next month at least, the sole link to the island is provided by the old ferry service, since plans to run a hovercraft service to the island have been delayed. So what is there to see and do on Stanley Island? Well, the main tourist areas are on the north, south and east coasts of the island. As far as recreation goes, in the south you'll find several leisure parklands such as Waterworld and Fantasy Island, which seem well equipped and reasonably priced. If it's golf you're after, the 18-hole course in the south of the island is currently being turned into a conference centre. But don't despair, there are 2 excellent courses just 30 minutes away on the east coast. The south of the island has many large resorts and hotels, with plenty of children's activities and clubs. This part of the island caters mainly for those seeking luxury to medium-class accommodation, but the east coast has basic apartment complexes with fully equipped kitchens, so that at least you can cook for yourself. For those who like to get back to nature, you'll probably find the south coast rather overdeveloped. The rainforest areas on the west coast are largely inaccessible because of the surrounding mountains, but those on the north coast are within easy reach, and a local agency runs guided treks through the jungle. If you're into water sports, all of the areas have something to offer.
Before you hear the rest of the program, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Now, here are a few bits of advice for those visiting the island for the first time, to make your stay safer and more enjoyable. The island is generally safe, but it's as well to take a few precautions. If you're on any medication, bring this with you. It may not be available on the island. And it's also a good idea for everyone to pack some insect spray in their luggage. If you're thinking of going into the more mountainous region in the west of the island, let someone know where you're going. And remember, the reception for your mobile phone may be unreliable, so don't depend on that. Take your own water. Don't drink out of rivers. You're likely to come across lots of monkeys. They're cute, but watch out, as they can bite. Finally, when you're back in the more inhabited areas, take a break from steak and do try the local seafood. It's fresh and very good value.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have 45 seconds to check your answers to Part 2.